membrane potential depends on which of the following: active transport, selective permeability, differential distribution of ions across the axonal membrane. We're talking about nerve cells, neurons. Okay, the answer depends on all of the above, which is active transport. We have sodium potassium pump, the selective permeability of the axonal membrane, and the difference of ions concentration on either end. So the answer should be D. The answer is D. The Krebs cycle in humans occurs in, we all know this is an easy question, mitochondrial matrix, heterotroph. Many students make a mistake when they talk about heterotroph. They either pick B or D. Of course, the answer is B, because D obtains its energy by consuming exclusively autotroph. That's not true. The answer is B, oxidizing by oxidizing energy, obtaining energy by oxidizing organic molecules. Okay. Regarding meiosis and mitosis, one difference between the two forms of cellular reproduction is that in meiosis, there's one round of cell division. No, separation of cells occurs during section. Chromosomes are replicated during interphase, whereas in meiosis, no. Okay, easy question. This is separation of sister chromatids occurs during the second division. Remember, in meiosis, we have two rounds. The first round, we separate homologous chromosomes, which is we are separating the double. I call it double. But in the second round, we are separating single, which means we are separating sister chromatids. Okay, we are separating sister chromatids. A feature of amino acids not found in carbohydrates. We all know that glucose C6H12O6, but in amino acids protein, we have carboxyl group COH, and we have amino group. Amino group contain NH2, has nitrogen. So the answer is nitrogen is in the amine group in amino acids, no nitrogen in carbohydrates. Which of the following is not a characteristic of bacteria? Circular double-stranded membrane-bound cellular. Of course, bacteria don't have membrane-bound organelles. All cells should have plasma membrane. Ribosomes, bacteria contains ribosomes. So circular, not characteristics. So membrane-bound cellular organelles. Bacteria don't have. So they are asking about not, which of the following is not a characteristics. Membrane-bound organelle is an advanced features of eukaryotic cells, like mitochondria and chloroplast. Bacteria don't have membrane-bound organelles. Question number 7. Which of the following best explains why population described as evolutionary unit? Okay. Genetic changes can only occur at the population level, which is just the true question. The gene pool in population remains fixed. No. Natural selection affects individual. No. Individual cannot evolve, but population can. Okay, let me check. Okay. Individual cannot evolve. Population can. If we have bacteria and we have penicillin or antibiotics, most bacteria die. A few, 5%, 2% survive. Because they are resistant, they will grow, reproduce. Have we interfered with the DNA of the bacteria? No. We did not do anything on the individuals. No. So always with evolution, individuals cannot evolve. Population can. Okay. The endocrine system maintains homeostasis using many feedback mechanisms, which of the following is an example of positive feedback. Positive feedback: infant suckling causes mother's brain to release oxytocin, which in turn stimulates milk production. Okay. An enzyme is allosterically inhibited by production. Inhibited in B, this is negative feedback. When ATP is abundant, the rate glycolysis decreases. Negative feedback. When blood sugar levels decreases to normal after meal, this is negative feedback. Remember, always when we talk about positive feedback, when you drink Pepsi or you eat sweets, your pancreas is gonna start popping up insulin. So this is positive. Positive. This is an example of positive. Once if you collected all the sugar in the bloodstream and we're gonna shut down the production of insulin in the pancreas, that's will be considered negative. Negative when we need to shut down the mechanism. The scientist carries out a cross between two guinea pigs, both of which have black coats. Black hair coat is dominant over white hair coat. 3/4 of the offspring have black coats, and 1/4 have white coats. The genotype of the parents, mostly. Easy question, genetics. They are testing your basic knowledge. This is capital B, small b, capital B, small b. A large island is devastated by a volcanic eruption. Most of the horses die except for the heaviest male and heaviest female of the group. They survive, reproduce, and perpetuate the population. Since weight is highly heritable and the distribution of weight approximate the binomial distribution, the offspring of the next generation would be expected to have a higher mean weight compared with the parents. Many students pick this answer, but it's wrong. Lower mean weight compared, a higher mean weight compared with the members of the original population. Yes, this is actually an experiment among the 13 experiments that we all need to know for AP biology. So the answer is D. We compare them to the same population. We have 13 experiments at the end of the Baron's book. If you haven't seen them, go ahead and check them out. All of the following play a role in morphogenesis, except morphogenesis, which is the differentiation of cells. Usually when we talk about fetus, when we start with the zygote have same type of tissue, same type of cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, 16, then start differentiating into muscles, nerve, and other stuff. What guide cells and tissue to differentiate? Apoptosis, yes, one of them. Homeotic genes, yes. We talk about homeotic genes for those who finish the course. We talk about inductive effects with one set of tissue affecting other tissues. The one that doesn't, accept is apron. Apron is like the switch on and off. So the apron is the switch on and off. So except aprons. All of these participate in the morphogenesis. Apoptosis, which is a programmed cell death. Homeotic genes. Under homeotic genes, we have Hox genes. For those who remember, we talk about Hox genes. During the period when life is believed to have begun, the atmospheric on primitive Earth contained except no oxygen, of course. We should all know that. There were plenty of hydrogen, plenty of ammonia, plenty of methane, but oxygen, that's why we started with on this planet with prokaryotics that were anaerobe. We start with prokaryotic anaerobe, then prokaryotic, then we start moving towards eukaryotic cells. The villi and microvilli are present in small intestine and aid in reabsorption by easy. This is an easy concept. Easy. You took this in 7th grade. Increasing the surface area of the small intestine, decreasing, making small intestine more hydrophilic, making small intestine more, increasing the surface area of the small intestine. Which of the following does not take place in the small intestine? Pancreatic lipase breaks down fat to fatty acid. That happens in B. Pepsin breaks down protein. Pepsin happens in stomach. Pepsin released by the stomach work in the stomach. But let's continue. Pancreatic amylase breaks down carbohydrates. That's in the small intestine. Bile comes from gallbladder, also works in the small intestine. So all of these work in the small intestine except pepsin. Pepsin, released by the stomach, work in the stomach. In animal cells, which of the following represent the most likely pathway that secretory protein takes as it is synthesized in the cell? Oh, that's a kind of tough question. We start with the ribosome. Look for, the protein comes out of the ribosome naked, so it has to go from the ribosomes and then goes to the packaging, the shipping company that packaged protein called Golgi. But between ribosomes and Golgi, we have to go through rough ER. So ribosomes, so let's check. This is a kind of tough question. Plasma membrane, no. Ribosome Golgi directly, no. Plasma membrane, no. Ribosomes, rough ER, Golgi, secretory vesicle, plasma membrane. So the answer is D. Protein comes out naked, goes through rough ER, then to Golgi, then secretory vesicle, then plasma membrane. All the following statements are correct regarding alleles except alleles are alternative forms of the same genes. Okay, alleles are found on the corresponding loci of homologous chromosome. Okay, gene can have more than 2 alleles. Yes, also. An individual with 2 identical alleles is said to be heterozygous with respect to the gene. No, if it's the same, if it's capital A, we call it homozygous dominant. If it's small a, homozygous recessive. Heterozygous, capital A, small a. So if they said individual with 2 alleles, so remember they ask for except. So the answer, the D is not true because hetero means capital A, small a, means different. That's we call heteromarriage. Heteromarriage, a man marries a woman. Homosexual marriage, man marries a man or woman, So homo, the same. Homicide, when a man kills another man, homicide. Suicide, when a man kills self. Once a plasmid has incorporated specific genes such as the gene coding for the antibiotic ampicillin into its genome, the plasmid may be cloned. Many students make also mistake in this question. They believe that, inserting into a virus to generate multiple genes, treating with restriction enzymes. Once plasmid has been coded specific genes such as coding. Oh, I thought I'm talking about another question, but no. This is when we try to manufacture insulin or any biotechnology. We take a gene from human, for example, and we put these genes with using scissors or restriction enzymes on a plasmid. Then we insert into a suitable bacterium, in order to produce multiple genes. So the genes for insulin, we take it from humans. We do this called DNA recombination. DNA recombination, having two different DNA from two different species put together for a specific task. Although mutations occur at a regular and predictable rate, which of the following statement is the least likely reason the frequency of mutation appears to be low? Least, remember, this is because some mutation produce that are recessive and may not be expressed. That's okay. Some undesirable phenotypic traits may be prevented from producing. Okay. Some mutations cause such drastic phenotypic changes that they are removed. Yeah, okay. The predictable rate of mutation results in ongoing. I was suspicious about this one because when we talk about mutation, we don't have any predictability. We could have mutation that is a subtle mutation. We could have a frame shift mutation. We could have insertion deletion, which is frame shift, substitution. We don't know. We don't have predictability for the mutation. It could happen anytime. Which of the following adaptive features would least likely to be found in an animal living in a hot, arid environment? Okay, long loop of Henle to maximize water absorption. It sounds good. Storage of water in fatty tissue, no. Long larges for heat dispersion. Short loop of Henle to maximize, no. Okay, the answer is A, long loop of Henle to maximize water reabsorption. If you go to the desert and your body senses that you are, under a hot temperature, you probably gonna have concentrated urine. Concentrated urine meaning your body is gonna conserve so much water and release the minimum amount of water in your urine. So this is adaptation for desert animals. They have long loop of Henle to make sure they reabsorb as much water as possible. Which of the following best accounts for the ability of legumes to grow well in nitrogen poor soils? Legumes, plants that, like peas, hummus, considered legumes, they make protein. In order to make protein, everything is easy in the atmospheric, carbon, oxygen, hydrogen. However, nitrogen is available, 78% is nitrogen. However, nitrogen is a triple bond. If you took chemistry, organic chemistry, nitrogen has a triple bond with another nitrogen. So it's not easy, go back and check the nitrogen cycle. These plants make their own protein. These plants have, okay. So the answer is, they have mutualistic relationship with nitrogen-fixing bacteria. These nitrogen-fixing bacteria, they are down in the roots. They provide the plants with the nitrogen, and they benefit from, the plants by many ways. Food is one of them. Which of the following is most correct concerning cell differentiation in vertebrates? Cells in different tissue contain different sets of genes. That's not true. All cells have the same sets of genes. However, some of them are switched on, some of them are switched off, meaning we have in our skin, in our bone, genes to make insulin, but they are switched off. Okay, switched off. So it's not A. Differences in the timing and expression level, different genes leads to structure. Okay. B could be the answer. Difference in the reading frame of measurement leads to structure. No. Differences between tissues result from spontaneous. The answer is B. differences in the timing and expression level. Timing, we took this in the last two chapters of biology. We call it heterochrony. What's heterochrony? Hetero means different, chrony from chronological means time. So the timing, and the expression. Timing means that certain tissue, let's say in my hand, can evolve at a faster rate than the remaining tissue of my body. We call it heterochrony. So the answer is B. Question below refers to the diagram. This is the heart. They're gonna ask about which of the following chamber vascular deoxygenated blood for 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 4. Of course, this is the oxygenated blood. This is the 2 is the right atrium, 1 is the right ventricle, and 4 is the pulmonary arteries. Blood goes from superior vena cava, inferior vena cava to number 2, then number 1, then number 4. Number 4 takes blood to the lungs. The lungs, blood comes back from the lung oxygenated through to the left atrium through number 7. So the deoxygenated blood is 1, 2, and 4. In chick embryos, the extra embryonic membrane that provides nourishment to the fetus is, where do you know that? Let me just talk about the placenta. There is no placenta in birds and reptiles. Placenta in mammals. Placenta, they have similar to placenta called allantois. So they don't have placenta, but the answer for this one is the extra membrane provides nourishment for egg yolk. Some strains of viruses can change normal mammalian cells into cancer cells in vitro. This transformation of the mammalian cells usually associated with formation of a pellis between the mammalian cell and the virus, incorporating of the viral genome into the mammalian. That could be the answer. Conversion of the host genome into viral DNA. No, viruses don't change all of the mammalian host cells. Release spores into incorporation of the viral genome into the mammalian cells. Yes, viruses do transduction. They get into our DNA through reverse transcriptase, and they incorporate their DNA onto our DNA. That's what happens. We might get cancer, we might get other diseases. The major difference between cartilage and bone is that cartilage, part of the skeletal, composed collagen, lacks blood vessel and nerves, secrete matrix, lack blood vessels and nerves. Remember, we're talking about connective tissue, cartilage, bone, and blood. Many students think, teacher, why blood? Blood is liquid, bone is hard. Yes, they all come from connective tissue, but we kept adding through ossification calcium to bones. So bones are hard and blood liquid. All following are example events that can prevent interspecific breeding except interspecific, double negative, interspecific. The potential mates experience geographic isolation. Yeah, geographical isolation can have speciation. Potential mates experience behavioral isolation. Okay. Potential mates have different courtship rituals. The potential mates have similar breeding season. Oh, so this is the one except, because they are asking about except. If they have the similar breeding, so they most likely are not going to have any speciation. They're going to breed same season. and everything's gonna be fine. Which of the following is not a characteristic of asexual reproduction? Is not asexual. Daughter cells have the same number of chromosomes as the parent. Daughter cells are identical to the parent. The parent cells produce diploid. Daughter cells fuse to form a zygote. Oh, easy question. The daughter cells fuse to form a zygote. This is sexual, sperm and egg, they fuse and forms a zygote. Which of the following is the correct characteristics of arteries? Many students say arteries carry oxygenated blood. This is not true because we have exceptions. So we don't say, if we say arteries, most of arteries carry oxygenated blood, maybe yes. So to be on a safe side, just say they always carry oxygenated. No, they carry blood away from the heart. So this is the right definition. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood towards the heart. Transpiration is a result of the special properties of water. The special property of water includes all except cohesion. Yes, water attracting another molecules of water. Adhesion, water sticking to other surfaces. Capillary action word, hydrophobicity. Water is a hydrophilic. So can you imagine they are telling you that water is feeling water, so it's not true. So except, it's not hydrophobicity, it's except is hydrophobicity. Crossing over occurs during which of the following phases? Prophase 1, metaphase, of course, prophase 1. In another question, they said prophase 1 and prophase 2. It happens only in prophase 1. Prophase 1. Oh, so we have it here, prophase 2. No, it's prophase 1. Crossing over, we already know what crossing over. Crossing over happens only during prophase 1. Which of the following about meiosis is not true? Meiosis produces two haploid gametes. Homologous chromosomes join synapses. Sister chromatids separate during, sister chromatids do not separate during meiosis 1, they separate during meiosis 2.